Remember back in 2021 when Copilot first dropped and we all looked at it and were like, there's no way that can be that good. At least I know that's what I did. I even have a video all the way back then where I was talking about how skeptical I was. I was wrong about Copilot. I was straight up comically wrong about Copilot. But then I tried it. Then I used it for Advent of Code. Then I got leaderboard times I'd never seen before. And I realized, oh, this is a really useful tool. Then they started charging for it, which was weird. I'm not used to paying for an extension for my editor. It did so well that they ended up with a ton of competitors, many of which, in my opinion, are quite a bit better than Copilot. And since we've seen some desperate attempts from Microsoft to keep up with the competition, everything from introducing new models and breaking their ChatGPT exclusivity agreement to adding Claude, to crazy new features being added into VS Code itself to support their ambitions, but they're clearly struggling. I know that because they just put out a free tier. And I'm really excited to break it down, what's good, bad, and ugly about this, as well as the overall success of Copilot when compared to the other newer and shinier solutions. There's a lot to talk about here, and most of it will actually help you be more productive. I know that because it has for me. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Sevalla, and I could tell you all about it, but I'd rather just show you because the product basically sells itself. Here I am in my Sevalla dashboard. I'm going to deploy a Laravel app. Yes, me, Laravel. Normally, I would struggle a lot with this. I'm not going to. Pick a Git repo. You can pick anything that's on your GitHub account once it's linked. I'll just go to Laravel demo, main. You can check the automatic deploy on commit. Super handy to take anything that makes it in main and auto deploy it for you. We'll call it sup nerds. Pick our location. I'll just throw it in LA, nice and close. Pick a resource size. You got plenty of different tiers and sizes because it's hosting a real server. I'll throw it on the hobby tier for $5 a month. Hit create. Oh no, I didn't hit create and deploy. Thankfully, deploying is also just one click. Wait, Cloudflare? This is where the magic of Sevalla kicks in. They're not just another place to throw your Docker images. They're so much more. They're part of Kinsta, which is a WordPress hosting platform, but they include everything as a result of that. From your database, to your CDNs, to your DDoS protection, all through Cloudflare. They're orchestrating all the parts the way you would if you were building this correctly yourself. But now you don't have to do any of that work, and you can see it all right here. If we want this live, it's pretty easy. Just go click the Deploy Now button. Deploy app. Now it's going live. They're not just good for production environments, they're even better for previews, dev, pull requests, and all that type of stuff. You can set up a pipeline that'll automatically open up preview builds for all your pull requests on a given repo, and you can promote them to prod directly. But you probably want to have them promote when you merge. If you do like that traditional workflow, they have an option with trunk-based dev, where you have something from main go to dev, you can verify it, have it go to staging, verify it again, and have it go to prod. Super cool. Whatever type of workflow you want, they can probably make it happen. And they support every technology you could ever need as you do it. Static or dynamic, JavaScript or PHP, MySQL or Redis, doesn't matter. Sevalla can host pretty much anything for you and give you a good experience as you do it. Thank you, Sevalla, for sponsoring. Check them out today at soydev.link/Sevalla. Let's dive in, shall we? So I'll admit biases before we go further. I like Satya. I'm a Microsoft investor. But I'm also an investor in Cursor, and I was an investor in Supermaven, which got acquired by Cursor, and I'm also an investor in Pear. So my money's spread out across this. I think I have more in Microsoft than any of the others, but yeah, I like Satya, so I have a bias there. We'll see how I end up feeling after all this.
Hi there. We have some very exciting updates to share for our GitHub community. I'm super energized about this. Today, we are fusing the world's most popular AI developer tool, GitHub Copilot, with the world's most popular editor, VS Code. And we're offering a free version to more than 150 million developers who use GitHub. We're introducing GitHub Copilot free in VS Code. It's a real game changer. With Copilot free, you can use chat to explain code, entirely natural language. You can build with multiple models, selecting the one that works best for you.
I still feel like devs having to pick the model is a leaky abstraction. Like, I shouldn't have to know as much as I do about which models are good at what. And I'm excited for a future where we don't need these, like, it almost feels like a Band-Aid. But the fact that this Band-Aid is being shown as a feature says a lot. I also saw chatter saying the same thing that I was thinking, so I'm happy it's not just me. See Trunker speaking at 0.5x. I listen to Satya at 2x usually when I listen to interviews and things with him, so it feels different. but also he's probably reading to a teleprompter that's set too slow. I've made that mistake before when trying to use a teleprompter. It's easy to accidentally set it slower than it should be. Let's keep getting through this though.
You can render edits across your files with multi-file edits. You can access Copilot's third-party ecosystem of agents. And of course, you can generate code completions, the core function that started the entire Copilot platform shift.
Okay, I have to be a little skeptical because they didn't show the code here. And every time they tried to obfuscate the code for a Copilot demo, it's because the code was atrocious. In my video about Copilot workspaces, I showed this because they were trying to demo how Copilot could now file a PR for you, but we found the PR. It didn't do what was asked, and it added a new license to the repo as well as a contributing MD file. It made a ton of changes it wasn't supposed to, and it didn't even do the change it was supposed to correctly. Yeah, I have to be skeptical of what this is changing. Refactor the code, moving the JS and CS into separate files. Move the CSS styles from the HTML file to this new CSS. Looks like it did that okay here, but hard to know for sure without seeing the code.
Files with multi-file.
Also, the accept, discard, and arrows to go up and down, that's taken straight from Cursor as far as I know. They had that first.
Edits, you can access Copilot's third-party ecosystem of agents. And of course, you can generate code completions, the core function that started the entire Copilot platform shift. Our ambition is to enable 1 billion developers on GitHub. And this is more possible than ever through the power of AI. I have to say, even for myself, the past several years, I have been using GitHub Copilot. My weekends have changed and have been much more fun. The joy of coding is back, and we are looking forward to bringing the same experience to so many more people around the world.
I am going to say something people aren't going to like, and I am just going to accept that going in. I agree. I have been very surprised by how much more fun coding has been since getting more into originally Copilot and SuperMaven, but now with Cursor especially. What's been fun for this for me is a lot of the more tedious parts of development, especially for like weird tasks like resizing an image's dimensions properly without changing its aspect ratio, or solving for greatest common denominator, or figuring out how the hell Cloudflare's like worker SDKs are supposed to work. These things used to be so unfun, just genuinely frustrating to do. And now it's not. The thing that's been fun for me with these AI tools is that it takes away the unfun part. It's like they'll eat the vegetables for you so you can skip to the fun part of the meal. But that's also a risk, because what is boring to one person is fun to others. And if we don't have people that enjoy these important lower level details, they'll never improve, they'll never be iterated on, and we'll be stuck where we are today with the quality of the tools that we use. And that terrifies me, especially in the case of earlier devs, because when you're learning to code, everything is unfun and everything makes you feel dumb and ill-equipped to solve problems. If you learn to use the AI as a cheat to skip that part, you'll keep doing that and you'll never end up developing those skills. And what's fun for me is that I have these skills, but I don't like having to use them all of the time for every little thing I'm doing. But the tool that makes it so I don't need to use that skill for the boring parts is the same tool preventing people from building the skill in the first place. And now that it's freely available, I'm scared that more and more devs, especially those in college, are going to just start using Cursor and VS Code and Copilot and all these things and never end up learning these raw skills and capabilities. That said, I'm sure there were similar arguments when IDEs first happened that are like, developers are never going to know how the terminal works anymore because they just have an IDE. And it was kind of right. Most devs suck at Bash now, but there's checks and balances to all of this. And I don't think we should limit the tools we're building based on how, if they are too good, they might cause new devs to be less successful because they're less motivated to build those skills. I think we should just try to build the best tool because it's the best tool. And I'm pumped that we are doing that, because my experience has been, as a person who doesn't get to code 8 to 12 hours a day anymore because I'm doing a lot of other shit. Reminder, I run a company, Upload Thing. The original version of Upload Thing did not have much AI code. At this point, it's hard for me to say because I'm not writing a lot of the code for it anymore. Julius and Mark are my new AI agents writing everything for us. The core point is that I don't get to code for the 10 to 12 hours a day I used to, but I'm still thinking about it constantly. And what the AI tools allow for me is to have a model of how I want to build this thing in my head. And the 2 to 3 hours I get twice a week end up being as productive as those 8 to 12 hour sessions used to be, because the AI lets me do the part where I take the thing in my brain and put it into code much faster. So yeah, checks and balances. Here's the blog post that came with. Announcing 150 million developers into new free tier for GitHub Copilot and VS Code. GitHub has a long history of offering free products and services to developers. I was about to make the joke about, remember when private repos cost money? But that was one of the first things that happened when Microsoft acquired GitHub, is they made that free too. I don't even know what I get for paying the GitHub premium fee. Like, I'm paying for GitHub's, Pro. Like, what do I even get for GitHub Pro now? No, does it just not exist anymore? I guess I should just cancel my GitHub Pro. That's weird, because I've had that for like 7 years now, plus. Wow, a lot more than that. That's weird. I've been paying them monthly and don't need to. Anyways, now GitHub Copilot is free. How is the free tier different? Does it say 2,000 completions and 50 chat requests a month? That's reasonable. All I consider that's absolutely reasonable. It's clear GitHub, Microsoft, VS Code, whatever you want to refer to them as, is getting more scared of the competition, and they're trying to flex the one thing they actually have. That thing, of course, is money. None of these other tools can afford to give this generous of a free tier, because these models cost a lot of money to run. That's why the AI tools are expensive. It's not just because they're trying to make tons of money. It's because the models are expensive to run, because you have to run them on really expensive hardware. The only reason Microsoft can give this generous of a free tier is because it's Microsoft. They have the money to burn, and they're scared of losing their market share, which clearly they're scared. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done this for free. Copilot Free gives you the choice between Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet or OpenAI's GPT-4o models. You can ask a coding question, explain existing code, or have it find a bug. You can execute edits across multiple files, and you can access Copilot's third-party agents and build your own extension. The extensions part's actually cool. I'm surprised I haven't seen more like really dope stuff with that. I thought it would take off more than it has, but I'm still just really fixated on this, that like they're talking about the specific models here. This really does feel like details leaking. This happens a lot when you're like all in on something where you're thinking about it too much. Like when I talk about upload thing, I have to resist the urge to deep dive on how miserable all of S3's quirks are, or all the weird bundling mechanisms that we need to take advantage of in order to make this like system work, because that's where we're spending our time. And it's hard to not talk about the things that are consuming your life. So if you're an AI dev building AI tools and things like Copilot, you're thinking a lot about the different models and what the benefits and negatives are. So when you talk about it, you talk about those things. But these aren't details most people should have to care about. Upload thing users shouldn't have to even know what an IAM role is, much less all the weird quirks and how we have things set up. That's the point. Copilot users shouldn't have to care about these models. I know when I started using Copilot, I had no idea what a model even was. Ugh. Do I have to open up Visual Studio Code for the first time in a while? I now have Quick Pick open. For those who aren't familiar, I built a tool that makes it easier to do a couple conversions that I rely on a lot, like turning SVGs into PNGs, making images square, and adding rounded corners to images. This one was contributed by a fan. Why does this one have the allows pasting images from clipboard and the other two don't? Or no, just this one doesn't. Did I forget to add that? Well, we have our first thing to ask. Hello, Theo, how can I help you? One of the three tools is missing the allows pasting images from clipboard callout. Please add it. Please provide the code for the three tools. This might also be super out of date. Yeah, restart to update. Hopefully that's the problem, because I haven't opened VS Code in so long. It's VS old. Okay, yeah, that was a new interface, and now it is entirely broken. There we go. I thought the whole point of Copilot is that it was like more stable, and then we had that experience. Fun. Make a new chat, paste that, try again. SVG to PNG. Nope. Let's do a new chat. This time we'll use a more competent model. I have to enable it, I guess. Collects workspace info. It's a small project. It should be able to fit the whole thing. Look at that. Okay, so it doesn't actually do it. Let's compare to Cursor quick. Same project, this time in Cursor. Starts by actually reading the files. Apply. Is that wrong? I think that might be wrong. Let's cdp/quickpick npm run dev. Oh no, that was right. Look at that. It knows my code base better than me. Yeah, it's sad, but like I'm coming up with what I think are somewhat realistic examples here, and every single time Copilot fails. Sorry, I have to switch to the Copilot edits tab. What? Why are these different? Okay. Let's give VS Code another chance, but this time in the edits tab. And it's hash to add context. I'm going to try it without the context first and still using 4.0. Provide the files that need to be modified. Okay. It's not very smart. We'll try again. This time with Claude. Same deal. Reminder that even like Cursor doesn't push that they can do this, but they can. I just showed it. Like it was able, I didn't give it context. It searched the code base. It found the ones that have the context it cares about, and then it applied the change. VS Code can't keep up, but I can manually tell it. So let's try that. App, tools, SVG to PNG. Cool. We'll add all of those so it can hopefully figure it out. And I can't just add the attachments. I have to rerun the query. This is such bad UX. Is sure. Accepted. It worked. Just took a lot more time to do all the parts. Yeah, I guess it's free if your time is also free. But like, that was a real basic edit attempt. Let's give it something a little more complex and see how the two solutions compare. Also, that was still with Claude Sonnet. So yeah. How about we'll make a whole new one and give it the right context this time of add files rounded tool. Also, I don't know if you guys can see this. The like box here is clipping into the edit files in your workspace. I thought that might be because my like screen size, but no, it's just like that. It's just broken. And like I would normally not harp on this too much, but you need to understand how broken the VS Code extension like API is. It's really hard to make a VS Code extension that does anything other than pop up on the side and like give you a little info. Even things like my typed error tool. I have a tool with TypeScript that will give you a better typed error. It's pretty TS error. We see it here. It translates the original error. In order for this to work, this has to be rendered as an SVG icon. That's how the extension works because you have no way to add that type of context otherwise, like at all. So is my Command S not working? There's no way I like unbound it. That's annoying. Okay. Fun new things. Here's what I wanted to ask it with rounded. No, it's not rounded tool. I want to use square tool. Use the most common color on the image's border as the default background color. Let's see if it's smart enough to do this. It is in the end just using Claude, so it theoretically should be the exact same as it would be in Cursor because Cursor's also, at least for my default, it's set to use Claude Sonnet. It is funny how like similar these UIs have gotten and how much more broken Microsoft's is. Yeah. Editor, don't speed this up. I want people to feel the pain that we're feeling right now. And what's that icon? What's the red square or dot? Okay, we have the new get border color. Doing some fun math. Why did it switch to single quote string? And did it like everywhere too? What the fuck? Let's try it. I don't even know how to save right now because something's broken. Command, no. Save without formatting. I literally can't get it to save. Okay. This is a great experience. Let's try the unsquared one. Did it just not do that? How do we use it? Okay, so it just didn't come up as an option. Okay, I think it's fair to say that didn't work. Let's try the same exact prompt in a little bit more competent an editor. Reminder, yes, I'm an investor in Cursor. I'm an investor because I like it. I'm not just sitting here trying to make Copilot look bad. I'm trying to use it the way that I use Cursor, and it's just not doing it. I forgot to give it the context, but did it figure it out still? Yeah, I forgot to tell it Square Image Tool, which means I gave more info to the version in VS Code than I gave to this. It's also way faster. Oh shit, they have this separate chat and composer. I forgot. Okay. They both have this problem where the chat and the composer are different. I never normally use chat. I'm only using it for this comparison. Can I tell it to apply still? No. Cool. We'll ask composer instead. I'll leave it the context of Square Tool. I won't give it additional. Did I make a new one? Yeah, I'll make a new one. Square Tool, not SVG tool. Yeah, it's significantly faster. I don't know how. They're using the same model. I don't know why it would be so much faster. Maybe it's because the Copilot one is getting so many new users. So I haven't tried yet, but I'm willing to bet this will actually work first try. I didn't even look at the diff. We can check it after. Upload. What? I'll give it more. It's sad that both couldn't handle what I would have considered a relatively basic task. You know what? I'm going to take time to make this work in VS Code because this is a VS Code video. I'm going to be more specific with my prompt this time. The user should be able to select between white, black, and detected color. The detected color should be the default, and the hex code should be shown under all of the options. It's so good at being a reactive that it has no idea how to effectively use effect. You're not wrong. Another good point that someone made was about burning tokens by using all the context. Yeah. Wait, more than other tools. Did you really need to add 40 files to context? Yeah. This UI is nice. It scrolls better when it's applying things. And I like the fact that it like keeps the line it's on in the middle and scrolls up and down around it. I actually do like this UX here. I'll give him credit there. I hope that Cursor can copy some of this because I like this view much more. And then it bugs out, so I have to shut my mouth. Like, why can't I see the code underneath? What happened there? Really starting to feel like this AI wave is causing much buggier software to get shipped already, including the like high-end AI tools. Okay, so it just hallucinated a bunch of shit here, I think. Kind of insane. No, format options does exist, I think, but it is meant to return a string. I could change that, I suppose. I want to see if it worked first. Upload. It's just not showing me options. Okay. I tried it on a white one. It's still using the like local storage value. Why is it such a hard task for AI to complete? Oh, I not save after? I forgot the save hotkey doesn't fucking work. What happened to my VS Code where it sucks this hard? Okay, so it did hallucinate all of this. The fuck? Oh, because it doesn't fucking save. Oh, because it hallucinated that background colors now have IDs. And use local storage needs 2 arguments. It literally got everything possible wrong. And it's not... I'm going to go insane. I'm trying so hard. There we go. Object, 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 and object, object. I'm going to make a new fake image to test with. Nice red color, not square image. Hop in, drop this new, not square image. And it's working. It's detecting. Wait, no, it's turning white to, or what? Okay, let's bring back the format function, options. Yeah, I don't feel like fighting the selector box as hard as I'm going to have to. I'm just going to stash and go back to cursor so you guys can see how I would normally do this. -a, get stash. Cool. Back to a slightly less annoying editor. I'm going to give it the better prompt. And this time I'm also going to include options selector file. Okay, I'll look at the changes quick first. So detect border color. Did it create that new file? It did. Look at that. We'll accept the new file. Hopefully this is now going to work. VS Code refresh the server. Cool. Got rid of the local storage here. Oh, no, it didn't. It's just using normal state for that. Use effect, if image, then we set that. That makes sense. Background color detected. Detected color, background color. Color. Options are detected, white and black now. Cool. And here, oh, it added the subtitle option. Nice. That's the right way to do this. Cool. And every time you accept one, it saves, which is really nice. So I don't have to hit the save button the whole time. Forgot to run the dev server. Okay, that part worked. Oh, look, you see the subtext under. Detected, white, black. How hard was that? How hard was that? Could I have added this functionality myself? Yeah. If I was doing this not for a video, what I almost certainly would have done would have been rage quit VS Code, go to cursor, never open that because I never do. I would have went at the top of Square tool. I would have either here written the like detect border color function, or I would have made a separate file. I probably would have just put it in here. I would have started writing it. And then if it didn't immediately know what I was trying to do, I would have command K'd, said I was trying to do, and then it would write that function. And then from there, I'd probably go and do all of the rest myself because as you saw, once it comes to connecting the different parts, that's where these tools and models tend to fall apart. I had a joke a few days ago that I'm going to start writing all my code in one file to make it easier for the AI bots. Hopefully now you see why I suggest that, because the multiple file hopping is just not something these tools are particularly good at. Also trying to figure out why it still thinks that doesn't exist. Restart TS server. Cool, that did it. I tried. I gave it an honest go. As much as I love Satya, as much as I am pumped that Copilot exists and made this all a thing, and as much as it's still like the perfect example of how AI tools can be good, I just can't do it. It's weird that Microsoft was the lead here and they've just fumbled it. If you're going to pay for a tool, you shouldn't pay for Copilot. There's better options. If you're not going to pay for a tool, the free tier here seems fine. Let me know what you think. Are you really hyped about having a free tier for one of these types of tools, or are you just going to stay paying for Windsurf or Cursor or whatever else you're using? Let me know. And until next time, peace nerds.